Hey, everybody, and thank you for tuning in this afternoon. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. Alongside, I've got my colleague Jan from New York City Saves Money, as you guys all know. Um, Today, we're just basically gonna, I guess you could say, just chew the fat. We'll just go wherever the conversation takes us. Hey, Jan, good to have you
Hey,
along.
Steve. Hey,
Um,
everybody. How's everybody doing?
so you know, we're just gonna have a normal, you know, conversation more or less. You
You
know,
know
if
what,
you
Steve? Yesterday I put out a video about carving 15 minutes a day of time. So many people use the excuse. How many times have you ever heard this in your life, Steve, or anyone? The following: I don't have the time. I'm too busy. Well, yesterday's video, I put out a little trick and it works. If one on purpose makes the time to take 15 minutes a day to do whatever it is they want to do, let's say a person has a really badly cluttered closet or a cluttered drawer, and the thought of looking at that thing just overwhelms you and makes you want to run away. If you declare on purpose 15 minutes from start to finish, once the bell rings, you're done. Even if you didn't complete the task of the cluttered drawer until the next time. And the next time may be tomorrow, the day after, or whatever. But there will be a next time. This way, one doesn't get overwhelmed, and the person will start feeling a sense of semblance and accomplishment. That's one area. Or people say people need to make, let's say, a really important phone call and they don't really want to do it. So they'll get creatively, procrastination wise, they'll come up with any excuse. And usually the most common excuse used, Steve, is, but I don't have enough time. Well, if you take this newly implied rule of law in your own head that every day you're going to carve out 15 minutes. I use that number specifically because you would be shocked what can be done in 15 minutes time. So let's say you allow the 15 minutes. Well, you're going to say, well, it's really important I get that phone call done. You might only need 5 minutes and that call is done. Maybe 10. Maybe the call runs past 15. But that's okay because you got that unpleasant task done. Now, conversely, you could take the same 15 minutes for, let's say, a more relaxation task. Maybe a 15-minute bubble bath. Um, Maybe a 15-minute pleasant phone call to a friend, just kick back laughing and talking. Maybe 15 minutes to make that little dessert, that no bake dessert that you've been wanting to do, or taking that 15 minutes and going for a walk. This really cuts down or eliminates the excuse of, but I don't have enough time. Let me tell you something. Let's think about chaotic mornings, especially when you got to get the kids off to school, you're getting ready for work. Who's to stop you from taking the 15 minutes that you on purpose carved out the night before to maybe have the breakfast dishes on the table? Maybe have your meal planner ready, or put all of the clothing, lay them out for the day on your launching pad the night before to cut back on that crazy, insane morning chaos. So, you know what? For me, and for anybody watching, try this trick. If you find that things are just piling up, say, you know what? I'm not going to look at the pile. I'll just think of the 15 minutes. What do you think about that, Steve? Steve, what's your
well,
opinion about that?
no, I'm trying to come back. So okay,
Yeah,
I have
I didn't know if I
I'm on a
lost
phone.
signal.
I'm on a phone. I'm used to a laptop. A laptop I can navigate easier. It's a little harder on a
Yeah.
phone. Now to
Okay.
answer your question, um,
Yeah.
it never anybody can make time to do anything. Anybody that says, well, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. Yeah, actually, a person does have time. If you have time to do something else, even if it's something that's stupid or silly, then you have time to do whatever it is over here that you need to do. Here's one, for example. I can, if I do it in one morning or one day, I can do it all in about 40 minutes, and that's not rushing. I can shave, take a shower, and get dressed. That takes me about 35, 40 minutes. Not too bad, but to cut down on that time, I have been known to shave the evening before. So instead of it taking me 35, it may only take me 20 the next day. So that cuts off a little time for me. People don't realize anybody can make time to do anything. But then again, you also have people out there that like to sit around, do nothing, twiddle their thumbs, do who knows what things. The time just passes by, and then they up and say, oh shoot, it's too late, I can't go and do this, I can't go and do that. Then I just come back and say, if I was around, well, yeah, actually you could have, if you'd have thought about it 2 hours ago, and if you didn't play around with your phone or had your finger stuck somewhere. We won't go where that finger stuck, but I think you get the idea. In your ear, well, that's not exactly what I was anticipating, but you know, anybody can make time to do anything. It's just a matter of having it pre-thought out in your head. For example, the other day, I took a little bit of time, and I'll go ahead and tell you it's going to be an upcoming recipe for Recipe Tuesday. I'll go ahead and give it away. I'll tell you now. I wanted to make a recipe for goulash. Okay, so I had one in my messenger. Then I go over to a website that I like to look up, and I looked at about 10 different ones. I kept looking at it, looked at this one, looked at those, back and forth, back and forth. I said, this is nothing more than beef and mac jacked up, which means it's, you know, on steroids. I hate to use drugs in the example, but it's a jacked up, hyped up thing. So what did I do? I took the liberty of making goulash from memory on my own using basically my spaghetti sauce. All I really did is I just added some chopped up green bell pepper to it, added, put in my normal spices, made it like I always do, put in the sugar to kill the acidity. And it said to take the elbow macaroni and put it in the goulash and it would all cook together and the macaroni would cook down. Well, I didn't do that. I do it like my lasagna. I cooked it in a separate pot about halfway. Then I drained it and then I took the elbow and put it in the goulash and cooked it the rest of the way. The recipe does not take 2 hours to make. It took me 2 hours. One, because I was a little bit uncertain about a certain part of the recipe. But usually the recipe takes about 45, 50 minutes, not 2 hours like I did. I just want to let people know that because I don't want people to shy away. If they see the recipe, they want to try it. Oh, but 2 hours, that's a lot of time. No, that was on me for that. Then the very last step, I took some Colby Jack shredded cheese and I took about a half a bag, about 4 or 5 ounces, and I dropped it inside the goulash and I mixed it in. And I must say I was very, very surprised with the way it tastes. It was very good. Would I make it again? Absolutely. So be on the lookout for that recipe. That's going to be coming up probably this coming Tuesday.
I saw the pictures and I could tell you it looks really yummy.
Yeah. So I will say this also. I moved my Recipe Tuesday time forward a little bit, around 8:15, 8:30. I figured, well, yeah, you do have early risers, but how many are really, really up at 8, at 6 o'clock in the morning? I mean, me, I'm usually up around 5. I go to bed about 10. I'm up at 5. I've been doing that for a while. So I do that. like I said, about the 8:15, 8:30 area. I'm trying to play around with the numbers on that one. I'm trying to get better view count on my Recipe
Sure,
Tuesday.
sure.
They could be a little better,
Well, what would help
because
is
if
if
the
some of the viewers would share your video with other folks. That's very important to us content creators. If you like the video, please don't hesitate to share it. If wherever you want, to a friend or a family member that may get value, we really appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah, so I hope that the Recipe Tuesday view count does get better. If it does not, as much as I hate to say it, and I'm just going to let all of you guys know, I know you guys love my recipes and I appreciate that, but Steve may have to go back to the drawing board and refigure something else. You know, what can I do? If the view count is not there, that's like selling a product in a store. If you sell something, it does decently well in the beginning, but then the sales drop off and you do what you can to try to improve. If you can't improve it, you're going to have to figure out another strategy in order to work a different system or improve on that. So that's where I
I
stand
think
with the
that
Recipe
time
Tuesday right
change,
now.
Steve, I think that time change is very important. I think you're on the right track because let's think of it this way. Many people, upon waking up, maybe they don't want to, I don't mean necessarily your stuff, but anything that might be of a heavy consistency as far as food wise goes. So maybe, moving it up to a later time when more people are awake and, stomachs and all this and all that. I think that was a smart strategy. So, yeah. I make adjustments with my channel all the time just to see, which fare is better. And, sometimes it's interesting, the results, but the only way to find out is to experiment. And if you have to do that, you have to do that.
Yeah. hmm Yeah. So I'm hoping that the view count does pick up on the Recipe Tuesday. It's not that they're bad, could be better, and because all of you that may or may not know, we have both Jan and I, as YouTube creators, we have a section called YouTube Studio that we go into, and it gives us exact numbers in all of the analytics and everything we need to know about how a video is performing. And if it's doing well, it's got green check marks, and if it's not doing well, you've got the arrow pointing down, and it tells you what placement out of 10 that the video falls in. So I would like to keep Recipe Tuesday alive. I really do. I'm sure you guys do too. Like Jan said, definitely get the videos out there because I don't want to ditch Recipe Tuesday because I've been doing it now. This will be the 70th episode that'll be coming up on Tuesday. So
I would hate
kind of
for you
want
to have to ditch it. I personally would hate for you to have to ditch it, but I do on the other side as a content creator. I empathize and I understand. So hopefully it'll pick up.
right. Like I said, keep my fingers crossed. But well, I mean, that's really. I mean, I really didn't know what to talk about on this video. I do agree with you, though, about time being valuable. And once it's lost, you can't get it back, as we all know. That's why I say, when coming back to the time, make the best of it. Because you're only given 24 hours in a day, but 8 of those hours you're usually sleeping. Well, not everybody sleeps 8 hours, but I would say between 7 and 8 hours you're asleep. So that only gives you like 16, 17 hours in a day. That's not really all that long of time if you think about it in a day, because an hour can go by just like that.
That's why the 15 minutes cutout is essential. There you go. I think we could all handle that.
I think so. All right. Well, everybody, I'm pretty much, done talking. I can't think of anything else. I mean, do you have anything else you might want to include before we
maybe just in the future, to talk about more, repurposing ideas. Oh, wait, I'll say it really fast. I'll capitalize it quickly. The other night on one of those shows where people ask investors for things, somebody was pitching their company to sell $14 salad in a jar. We could all make our own salad in the jar for a fraction by using some of our own leftovers and our salad mixture.
You can.
That's all I have to say on that.
You can. I've been known. Actually, I have a little bit of I can actually back that, because if you think about what lettuce cost, and then your fixins that you want to put in it, if you want to do like a chef salad or a Caesar salad type thing, instead of paying $14, including your favorite kind of dressing that you like to put on it, you might be able to get away with making a salad. You might get away for maybe half that, $6 or so. I'm just taking a rough guess. I might be a little off. Again, I haven't priced the price of lettuce in a little while, so I don't know exactly what it cost. It was $1.60 something ahead for romaine, which is what I prefer, but I'm sure it's probably twice that now, or half again. So no, you can make a lettuce or a salad, for way less than $14. Honestly, that's really nothing more than highway robbery. All they're trying to do, they're just trying to make a quick buck to where they can retire tomorrow, if you think about it. Yeah. All right. Yeah, repurposing is always a good thing. Always go and look in your refrigerator, any leftovers or anything that you have to make other meals with. Do it. I do it. In fact, one of the things I like to do at breakfast time, if I'm not doing over medium eggs or scrambled or anything like that, one of my favorite breakfast eggs, I like to do an omelet. A lot of the time I'll go to the refrigerator and look and see what I may have left over. And when I pour the egg batter in my electric skillet or whatever I'm using, I will take a couple of things out of the fridge, lay it down in there, maybe a little bit of cheese, and then fold it over. And then I just repurposed what it was that I cooked either the meal prior, dinner the night before, or a day before that. So so definitely repurpose. It does save people a lot of money in the long run.
Definitely.
All right, everybody. I'll see you guys back here on Recipe Tuesday. Be on the lookout for the goulash. Like I said, it's basically my spaghetti sauce recipe for the most part, but it's a little bit, doctored up beside that. Okay. I hope everybody has a great remainder of their weekend, and I'll see you back here on Tuesday. Bye.
Bye.